So tell me about the first audition you ever went on.
Oh my God. I'd have to think about that one. I feel like it didn't go well. I don't think things went that great in the beginning. I remember one time I was like an extra background in a Dr. Dre video, and they wanted us to, and it was like a night shoot, which is already like, this is a terrible idea. And we got paid nothing. We had to walk in this like place where they said like, oh, you know where we're walking, where that liquid is? That's where they dump porta potties. And I was like, I'll be in my car. And I slept in my car for the whole night of the shoot, and then got my money and then went home.
So you weren't in the video in the end?
God, no. It was pre-hipster, so I don't know what people were called, but like my hair was really curly and I was like young, and it was like...
You were called the 90s.
It was so 90s. It was like kids hanging out on a roof downtown.
The very, 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 very first audition I went on was for a off-Broadway play. The woman looked very young. I was like 20 maybe 21. And I walked in, I was like, oh my God, you're so young. How did you get this job? Which is not something you say to somebody. So then I started my monologue, and I like got 2 lines deep, and I fucked up, and I went, fuck. And she was like, excuse, which is something you just keep going. She let me start over, finish it. And she was like, actually, you're very talented. There's just a lot of bullshit up top. And I was like, so I didn't get it? And she was like, no, I'll say it now. No, goodbye. And I was like, okay.
In my final year in drama school, the artistic director of The Gate came to see it, and she was casting Great Gatsby, a kind of immersive production of that. I was, at the time, definitely 10 years too young to play him on paper, so it wasn't something that I felt was even a reality when I went for the first audition. But then when I went back to the callback, I was like, oh God, I really, really want this. I just remember feeling like it was the start of what being a professional actor looked like, and it was really exciting. And being around actors that, like, as when you were in college and you go to see plays around Dublin, you were suddenly in an audition room with them, because it was kind of a group audition. And I was like, it definitely a lot of kind of faking it till you make it.
The first audition I ever went on was for a movie, like a real audition, like for a real thing, was for a Shirley MacLaine movie called Mrs. Winterbottom. I went and I read for the part of like a housekeeper or something like that. I don't think there's no character name. And that represented like a very high point, because after that audition, I then auditioned for 1,000 things that never got made and you've never heard of. I was so naive so as not to even be nervous. Like, I didn't even know enough to know that the stakes were very high, because when I left theater school, I think I did a very good job. I was impressive in theater school. Whatever. And so when I left theater school, I was like, I'm going to be auditioning all the time for so many things. So it was just a very natural extension. Like, this is a movie, I'll go in for it. And then I absolutely hit rock bottom.
I was in acting school, and it was for Biloxi Blues. And Meg Simon was the casting director. I mean, I'm young at this point. I'm really young. And it was a big deal. Broadway, Gene Sachs, Matthew Broderick, who I waited on. And you know what I mean? It's like, again, full circle. And they called me back like 7 times. I mean, guys were like puking in the waiting room. Everyone was so nervous. And I got the part. And all of a sudden, I'm there on Broadway for the first time in my life. I mean, mind-blowing.
I was going for an audition for The Sound of Music at Sadler's Wells Theatre. It was one of them where there's like 25 kids for every part at the start of the day. And throughout the day, people just get cut and thank you so much, you can go now. Calls my name, step forward and says, thanks for coming today, you can go home. And I remember leaving the room and I was picking up my like backpack and I heard these like 20 kids, all the director and musical director, all just going, yeah! And they were going, we're going to have I remember the director going, we're going to have the greatest time. Rehearsal started 3 weeks, something like that. My dad told me, and I don't remember this at all. My dad told me that he said, you know, you don't have to do this. You can go to the classes after school and you can have a nice time. You don't have to, you can just enjoy this. And I said, I can't, Dad. This is what it is. And this is what I've got to do. And he says he knew then that nothing was going to dissuade me from trying to be a performer.